because Arunachal, there is a people, and then there are many people who are taking shelter there. There is a discussion whether we should.
Secondly, to examine the notion of ethnic cleansing in the practice of UN Security Council or international law. Thirdly, to explore the steps to be taken to end the violence in Manipur and prevent possible violence in other Northeast. Thank you. Now, I would like to call Sir NOBOKISHORE, Convener Northeast Dialogue to speak on this.
Dear friends, this is a very good privilege to be together with all of us after a long time. Of course, we met last month in Kaziranga, and we had many discussions about the problem faced by the people in the Northeast. We face many problems in the recent times. One thing what we can recall is about the killing of 14 coal mine workers in December 4, 2022. Right. So, and many were injured. So that was a quite distinct and serious concern for all of us. Then we also experienced some kind of conflict, violent conflict in different part of the Northeast. But unfortunately on 3rd of May this year, the conflict started again in Manipur between Meiteis and Kukis. But in that, about more than 115 people were killed, and then more than 353 were injured, and almost about 50,000 people were displaced both sides, like killing. It's a quite huge number of people affected by this conflict. Now, why these conflicts happen is one reason we need to discuss very seriously for all of us. And if this conflict extended or again happened in other states in the Northeast, in TRIPURA, ASSAM, then Nagaland, ARUNACHAL, PRADESH, so on and so forth. Because all the states are having the potential of experiencing or confronting the conflict. Because Arunachal, there is a people, and then there are many people who are taking shelter there. There is a discussion whether we should recognize or not recognize. For example, the Chakma population is there. Then there is a land dispute between the Assamese and the Tripura. We know this. There is a population problems there. So there is a high possibilities of occurring the violence conflict in other states. And Nagaland still peace ceasefire agreement, whether it should be ended or not ended. So these debates are going on, and many people are frustrated. So how to stop this thing? So first thing is the prerequisite to prevent the violence is the stop killing, because killing will not bring any solution. Killing will facilitate the process of continuing the violence in a long time, for a long time, and then that injury will be difficult to heal in the coming 10 or 20 or 30 years time. So it takes long time. And then people's opportunity to survive, their livelihoods, their futures are all destroyed. Right. So then that is another reasons for reoccurring the violence again. So our life cycle is going through this process of violence, and which disturb the development and the peaceful and the protection of the human right of the peoples in the region. So therefore, we need to in this discussion and debate, I think I request all the delegates coming from different states in the Northeast need to give some serious thinking and analysis about this process. Second point is there is a huge proliferation of small arms in the region. Right? There is a huge arms available in the regions, in every village, in many houses, with many people. Some may say it is a licensed gun, or some may say it is for the protection insurance. That I think we all experience from that. And then many arms are under the control of the government with the security forces and police, so on and so forth. But proliferation of the arms in the society that is the indication of the violent conflict, which is challenging the peace to all of us. And this is challenging all of us. And we cannot remain silent, because this threatened our peaceful life and the practice of democracy and the rule of law. And this need to be asked the questions, and we need to have a strong stand to make an argument against this kind of actions. Where from these arms coming? Why these arms are proliferating all over the world? Why these conflicts are happening? Who are profited from this conflict? It's not that two communities killing, because many people are profited from this violent conflict and killing or ethnic cleansing. And for their profit, why we should kill each other? So that is the high argument on that. Many argue that these arms are coming from this place, that place. I don't know. This in Manipur we experienced that during this conflict, many the groups who are fighting, they were or they are using the sniper, right? Where from this sniper come? Do any armed group can afford to buy this sniper? Right? And who shell this sniper? Sniper cannot be shelled to anyone. Sniper can be sold by the company, by the country, from country to country, from government to government. There should be a contract, and then these arms will be taken. But why these arms are in the hand of these armed groups? So what is the wrong happening in this process? Now, our humble concern is that this conflict is trying to create some kind of political environment where people in that geographical area will have the difficulties to survive or to live. So that is one, and that is threatening the democracy and the rule of law, because we are under the law, we are protected on this, and a large number of arms are in the hand of many people, and this is what we call allowing the civilians to have an arm is a violation of what? Geneva Convention, Common Article 3, right? And killing civilians, burning and the torturing. These are all the war crimes, and this is the violating this Geneva Convention, right? And the farmers wanted to go to their paddy fields, preparing for the cultivation of paddy, and then some groups are shooting at them. This is the violation of right to food, because they are preparing just to get their food for the coming year. So all these violation is this is the violation of the Article 21 of the Constitution of India, right to life and the liberty, and the protection of the life of the peoples and its property is not able to be protected by the authority and the mob, right? So they are in a difficult situation, and all this give a very serious conditions for all of us, for the civil society, for many students organizations, for the lawyers, for the academics, for the journalists, that how we need to continue our democratic process and peaceful process in the future. So therefore, we all need to discuss this thing and take a certain positions, and we need to have some kind of communication with all the stakeholders, including the government as well as the public in the regions, that this need to be stopped somehow. Now, as we all know, in Manipur, now all the educational institutions are closed, right? About 22 colleges and schools are occupied by the security forces in order to control this whole uprising by the peoples. And more than 6,70,000 students are denied to access to education. So, right to education is in the Constitution of India. And if the authority fail to ensure the education to the children, it is violating the Constitution of India. And what kind of actions need to be taken by the authority? This is very serious. If the students are not assessed, again, especially the students, young people who are in the relief camp, who are not, their books are burned, when their houses are burned, and then they don't have anything. What kind of special measures need to be taken up by the authorities or by the society? This is not, there may be preparation, but we don't see very clearly on this kind of work. Then we can, this is also a violation of the guideline and the procedures of the UN special procedures of the right to education. Even during the war, the government has to ensure to provide education to their citizens. In that regard, that need to be looked at very carefully about. Again, looking into the status of the women who are fled from their villages, village or localities, their houses are burned, bought maitais and cookies, who ran away. See, more than 27,000 of women are facing the challenges of the violence against them because they are uprooted from their place, and they came without much other things, and their needs are different from men, and these are very, very serious thing, and many women perhaps not involved in the conflict, but they become the victim. So this is also violating the right of the women, and if you see the guideline and the procedures of the special rapporteur on violence against women, it causes and consequences. I think the government of India is not able to protect the right of the women there. And staying in the relief camps or unknown place by women or group of women, the kind of uncertainties or fear and insecurities felt by them need to be recognized very carefully. So all this violation of the human rights need to be looked at when we see any kind of violence occur in different parts of the world, but in the Northeast India. Now we were talking about this violence for a long time, since 1993, 94, when the Naga Kuki class happens, and the many issues of violence between the Khashi and the Nepalis, and then Bengali and all this in Assam, Bodo Santal problem, and in Tripura we faced other problem of indigenous peoples and the Bengali speaking peoples, so on and so forth. This is a well known by all of us. Now, if the fighting continues and challenging the law, law means, I think we have lawyers, you know better, we have a domestic law as well as we have the international law. So any armed groups fighting against another group or fighting against another communities need to follow certain rule of law. Certain guidelines are there to use their arms. They cannot use as what they like. So therefore, many armed groups, they ratified or they signed the deed of agreement of Geneva Code. Geneva Code is one organization which is dealing with different armed groups in the world. So we observe that, we suspect that some of the armed groups involved in the conflict in Manipur, they signed this three deed of agreement. That means that is an international treaty. One is the group will not use landmine. The armed groups will not allow any landmine to be transported or to enter through their territory where they claim that is under our control. Right? And if any landmine blasts or carry or transport, that is the violation of that international treaty or deed of agreement. Right? Because using landmine is a war crime. Again, Geneva Convention, Common Article 3. The second treaty is related to the women, gender. In any conflict, the member of the armed groups cannot commit any sexual violence, torture, killing, so and so. So their houses were burned, many of them were tortured, and many of them were threatened. Then they are violating this deed of agreement. That means if you are violating, what will happen? That need to be looked at. Third point is deed of agreement on right of child. Right? Any armed group is not allowed to recruit a child below 18 or 20 years for the soldier. Ask them to provide military training, ask them to shoot. It's not allowed by the international law, international humanitarian law. So if any armed group or insurgent groups violating this international law or this Geneva Convention Common Article 3, they are liable to face investigation by the international bodies. And this need to be recognized when any party involved in the conflict involved in the fighting. So this, how we are going to raise the awareness and make the people understand that there is a law, domestic law, as well as the international law, which need to be bind when we or they are involved in the violent conflict. Right. So how we all can appeal to the parties involved in the conflict to not to commit this violation of the human right in the long run. Right. See, remember in Manipur there was a case. Many people were killed. The documented case of 1,520 of extrajudicial executions. Right. Of course, this report went to the UN, and then different European Union, and then finally this court has this case has gone to the Supreme Court, and it fought more than 10 years, and then it come back for the investigation. There was a special investigation team was established, including the National Human Rights Commission, and then now the charge sheets are coming. Charge sheets are coming, and there is a list of name of the security forces who are involved in the extrajudicial killing. This is the report of the investigation team, and this is the report of the court. Now, many of these soldiers need to face the consequences of involving in this kind of work. Right. Now, unfortunately, the charge sheet for the killing of 13 or 14 Konjac Nagas in Oting village last year, in 2022, charge sheet has been submitted. 30 name of the Indian Army, including one major, was mentioned, and then Government of India, Ministry of Defense said, no, we cannot provide you the prosecution sanction to investigate against this army because their morale will be disturbed. Then where is the rule of law? Right? There is a different law for the security forces, and there is a different law for the people in the north. And the United Nations Committee on Racial Discrimination in 2007 categorically stated that Armed Forces Special Power Act is a racist act. And India, as a democratic country, cannot have a special act for a particular group of people living in a particular geographical area. Under the early warning and urgent action procedures. Why we are saying Special Power Act is the kind of conflict which is experiencing in Manipur is happening under the geographical areas where the Armed Forces Special Powers is in place. Right. And now we experience that in many conflicts, many government security forces are involved. Now, if the Assam Rifles or any security forces are joining or supporting or providing the logistic support to the armed groups to fight another group or to fight with the civilians, is also the war crime. Because they cannot do that. Right? They said it is a policy. No, it's not a policy. It's a violation of human rights. It's a violation of constitutional law. It is a violation of international law, especially international humanitarian law. So, how they can fight? Why I'm saying is that the UN is not saying you should not have a conflict. You can have a conflict. But you have to follow these guidelines and procedures during the war or violent conflict. So many civilians killed. You see, we suspect that there is more than 115 people will die. It's not reported, right? And the many situations are there, and many families from Manipur, from the Kuki areas, as well as from the Meitei areas, are they ran away, they left their house, their houses were burned, and all that. This consequence will last a very, very, very long time, right? And we think all of us, and we request all of us need to do something so that this conflict is not happen in other part of the house. Because we do not know, we never expect this conflict will happen, right? Suddenly it's happened on 3rd May, right? And many people killed, houses were burned. And we are not very rich people. Okay, my house was burned, so I will build a house. It's not like that. It takes years and years to save the money and the resources to build a house, to build a village. And then suddenly, within 1 hour or 2 hours, it's burned. And the way how they burn these villages, they call it, this is, for example, let us go and burn one village. We do not know where from we will start, where to enter. But these all burnings were happening very systematically, right? What kind of material will use to burn this kind of house? So we have to start from this place, we have to end there. If the group are coming, burning, one is entering, then they will also burn. It's a fire. So the way how they are burning, how they are organizing this kind of violence is very systematic, and trained people can do that, and ordinary people may be able, but without it can be done. So how we are going to monitor this so that we can prevent, right? I don't want to involve in the conflict anymore, but we are compelled to come out when you see many women, many people are suffering. And many brave mothers and sisters in Manipur are coming out and spending the nights and days to guard their villages, and then demanding for peace, stopping killing each other. But this is all happening. I will not mention any political demand, scheduled tribe and all these things, and a separate administration and all. All this is possible when all this violence stop, then come across the table and the dialogue what is possible, right? On the gunpoint, asking everything, and I mean this may have a big challenge for all of us. So in this context, what we need to do and what every state can contribute to work on that is to firstly, all the delegates coming from different states, I strongly request you to write to your chief ministers and the governor saying that this kind of violence need to be discussed, and the present violence which is happening in Manipur can also be looked at, otherwise, see now, KHARLYNGDOH and the Khasi problem is going on. Whether this is my village area, this is not village area. That checkpoint has to be destroyed, and all these things are happening. So these are the small indicators where two communities can kill each other, and the bloodshed can occur. Right. So don't think that it is not, because some young people or some Western interest people come and shoot cut the head, and then then you say, okay, my community was affected, so we need to do. The same thing in Tripura. This can be very, very vulnerable in the state. So we humbly request that all these problems need to be settled down under the rule of law and peacefully in the future, and we don't want this kind of violence occur in other states and suffer by the people in the future. So thank you very much.
In between the states, especially Assam, we have lots of issues with ARUNACHAL, with MEGHALAYA, Mizoram. So it's coming. So we have to look at that. Next, I would like to call Sir Anthony DEBBARMA, Tripura.
I can speak from here. Thank you very much and good morning. I think I'm audible enough, right? Once again, good morning and thank you everyone for coming together. In fact, this is very important for every one of us to come together. We have seen many of our intellectual creamy layer of the Northeastern in the earlier 2000, 2005-06, where they are so much active and so much vibrant to defend and to talk about the right of the Northeast. But today, we find slowly these people are stepping down. Why? The only reason is that when you understand about your right, when you value about your right, when you understand about your identity, and when you value your identity, I think there is a movement where you feel and felt that yes, I need to raise my voice. But when we compromise with certain things and we take less interest to, understand or to articulate about the situation, then that point of time becomes the who has become, died. So that is how the system is actually happening today. And today, if you really see the Northeast, hardly you find that activists. If you remember the PRADESH, who was assassinated in the middle of the city of Guwahati, when he came to, pick his son from the school. Can any one of us actually forget that scenario, that situation? Why? Why they have taken so much struggle and why they have taken so much risk into their life? Because they understand, if I don't raise my voice, then my younger generations will not able to survive if this continues. So they have calculated and articulated the risks, and also they have analyzed everything, and thereafter they move forward. And for us too, I'm coming from Tripura, and I have my two colleagues from Tripura. We have been fighting and raising the issues in different levels, but no one listened to us. Then I remember in the year 1990 or even before that, after 1980 riots, KSU, has written in the world saying that we don't want Shillong to be another Tripura. We don't want Meghalaya to be another Tripura. Then at that point of time, the students' organizations of Meghalaya are so active, and because they understand. And we find the cities are being closed down by 5 o'clock. But today you find the cities are open throughout the night. That shows that we have lost our hope for resisting to protect our land and territory. And let me quote Macaulay in 1835 addresses in the Parliament of British. He told, if my fellow men wants to conquer and wants to capture the resources of India, then we have to think very high. I have traveled across the length and the breadth of India, and I have never found a single beggar, never seen Bolshevik. Their culture is so much strong and they are so much united. If you want to break their culture, then we have to have a rule where we should first strike their culture. This is how they came to India and they divided us, divided rule policy. But that point of time, the northeastern region is never part of India. And when we became the part of India, the government of India, the Union of India has promised us that we will never let your people, your land, your territory, your culture, your language to be isolated. But where is all that promise? And today, when Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel requested Mahatma Gandhi, because Mahatma Gandhi sat with a fellow Northeastern people, and Northeastern people said, we don't want to be part of India. And Mahatma Gandhi said, okay, we respect your right. If the Northeast people doesn't want to be part of India, then it's okay. It is their wish. But Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel requested Mahatma Gandhi, wait, I think they are doing wrong. We should include Northeast. Why? The only reason he cited is that Northeastern region is full of natural resources. And if India wants to progress and wants to become the powerful in the world, then we should include Northeast to be as a part of India. And today exactly what we have in the Northeast, what don't we have anything in the Northeast is that we have uranium, we have oil, we have gas, we have methyl, magnified, and so many things which I myself cannot, remember the names inside the thing. Now, this conflict, the present conflict, what is happening in Manipur, is not just a first instant. As Tama has mentioned, in Meghalaya, the Khasi and the Bali, then the Assam, Karbi and Dimasa, then in other part, the Raba and Garo. So many places this ethnic conflict took place. Why? The only reason is these are very much designed and planned so that they can easily control the area. So we could understand clearly that the northeastern peoples are not wanted by their mainland. They only want the natural resources. For that reason, I think it is high time for every citizen of the northeast to understand. Arunachal Pradesh, 4,000 mega dam, 5,000 mega dam in so many places. If that mega dams are being constructed, half of the Arunachal will be submerged under water. Then what do you do if the populations of the Arunachals are being submerged under water? So do we really think about our future? Do we really think about our identity? That is the questions that need to be asked by all of us. Now, if I really recall the king of KHARLYNDOH, when he was arrested and detained by the British, he was asked, if you want to live your life, then you live as a slave of ours, or you die. What is it, the choice? He said, I will rather die as a king of my people, but I will not live like a slave under your regime. So I am a king and I am a leader for my people, so I will die as a king, as a leader. So that inspires us to actually understand the value of our life and our identity. If when I think about my life and my identity and my land and territory, if I became a anti-nation, then how can you think about your border security force? You are actually protecting your land and territory and your nation. Is it harmful? No, because you want to protect us as a nation, as India. So as to us, as a Tripuri, as a Tiprasa, as a Khasi, as Assamese, as a Arunachali, we would also like to live with dignity and with identity and protect our land and territory. But when it comes to our identity and our land, then your finger is pointing on us. And we, the northeastern people, are easily being bought with a small amount of gas. This is what actually happened. Now, Team Tripura, in 5th April 2023, ONGC has announced that we have produced one of the highest gas in terms of 1,674 millions cubic meters. And yet, the people of Tripura gets nothing out of that. And we are demanding of Greater Tripura land. We are demanding about Tripura land, and then it should become an anti-nation. So, where is my right? When we talk about human rights, when we talk about indigenous rights, India is the first country to sign on the Declaration of Right to Indigenous People, United Nations Declaration of the Right of Indigenous People. But here, when it comes, there is no respect at all. So therefore, we need to understand whether we only articulate of our self-interest, or we are articulating to safeguard the land and territory of our people. That is the question that we need to ask. Are we going to survive with our dignity and rights? Or are we going to be submerged by Dakar, by Maya, and this illegal Para? Yeah? So this is what we have to understand. And why this conflict is happening today? It is not only the issue of natural resources, because of the illegal migrant population transfers to our land. I remember in 1951, the then Home Minister, G.B. Pant, said in the House of the Parliament that in Tripura, the indigenous peoples are becoming minority. Therefore, we need to protect their land and territory and their identity. But nothing happened. And again in 1960, the UN Labour Commission was set up. The then Home Minister also have articulated and have given the fact and figures. But yet, no implementation. Then in 1997, when Rajendra Jit Prasad has made the same statement, because under his leadership, the commission was set up again. And he has given a fact and figure. How many millions in Tripura, how many lakhs in Meghalaya, how many lakhs in Manipur, how many lakhs in Assam, and the entire Northeast and the West Bengal and Bihar. So these issues are not the issue of today. These issues are well planned today. If India is a secular country, why they are dividing us on religious factor? In the name of religions, thousands and thousands of people were killed. And this is what actually happening. And today, if we see the issue of Manipur, I being from Tripura, maybe I am watching and clapping my hands. You being from ARUNACHAL, maybe you are clapping your hands. Oh my God, what is happening in Manipur? Or when we see Karbi and Dimasa happening, everyone is just watching what is happening in there. So, my dear brothers and sisters, this may again happen to your place and to my place. For us, we have witnessed in 1980 what has happened in 1980. We have witnessed. And we started our journey from the ground, from the zero, 15 October 1949. And thereafter, 1980 was a disaster. Genocide took place. And once the genocide took place, then it is very difficult for the peoples to actually come. Because for any family or for any individual to set up your life, to establish your life, you at least require one generation. One generation, that is 25 years. So therefore, we actually, the Northeast Dialogue Forum, came together and start thinking, why don't we come together as a Northeast and let us raise our voice where our people cannot raise their voice. And this is how this initiative took place. Meghalaya, I was sharing with them. What was that lady named, that old lady named? The uranium.
Agnes Hassan.
No.
Smriti.
Yeah. Lindo. Yeah. An old lady who put the entire boundary with a black flag because she knew that I don't have manpower, human power, human resources, but I only alone. How can I really protest? So she took and put all this black flag across the borders of the land. And that shows that she is protesting. And in today, Zabugoda, right? If you remember the uranium mining, the situations of their life, the situations in their particular places, it's horrible. Even if you see the Bhopal gas tragedy, even till today, people are born handicapped, without hand, without leg, and with mental disorders and so on and so forth. So we have witnessed within our life, within our time. But in spite of that, we still tolerate, we still compromise, that let it go, continue. So how long we can wait? I think being a civilized society, it is high time for us to intervene in any conflicts area and start preventing not to happen in your area and in my area. I think that initiative has to be taken and give the awareness to the people. Today, our Prime Minister claiming in the USA, saying that we the Indian people are merging economic power. But today, how can you talk about economic power and your development when your country is not in best? Your country is falling. So these are the issues that we need to articulate. And why? Why these are happening? I think many of us may not aware. These conflicts are not like the hatred between two communities or three communities. These interests are different. It is a hidden agenda. These interests are on the economic power. And what is that economic power? That economic power is the natural resources. Now for an example, why they used to declare a wildlife sanctuary? There is an agenda. Now it cited an example of TRIPURA. We don't have tigers or any other, animals much. We hardly have few spectacle monkey and the deers and other things. But today they have declared to mine inside that wildlife sanctuary. Why? First of all, they will declare as a wildlife sanctuary. Thereafter, they will go for mining. So this is actually happening. Why they create a conflict between two communities, then they can deploy army. Once they deploy army will control over that area. And after next 1 or 2 years, then they will announce that, oh, there is a natural resources, we are going to do a mining there. So that people cannot protest because it is in the middle of the army. It is within the periphery of the army gate. So you and I cannot protest so easily that natural resources is being taken away. And imagine in Tripura, now they also announced that they are going to cultivate palm oil. In a very recent newspaper, they have declared that there are about 2,000 hectares the millet cultivation will take place, and out of that 530 hectares will be of palm oil plantations. Now people doesn't know what is this palm oil plantation, and you all know very well the palm oil plantation is not going to benefit for the Northeast people or either for the country. But why? They knew that once you start the palm oil cultivation, then inside there is a uranium, there is a gas, there is a petroleum, and there are so many things. So this is the target, and this is the idea where they have only planned. And one of the major things you may ask how they knew about all these things. See, now the latest technologies are very easy to find out. These technologies are basically being operated from the office where they sit in the settlement office. The settlement, like in Tripura, it was the first state ever in the country who had used the satellite mapping. And when they use the satellite mapping, they can easily record the barren land where it is. And after that, they will put a point with the latest technology and they will find out what is there in that particular area. I remember a US activist, or one, I forgot his name, he is a professor, who came to Bangladesh, and from Bangladesh he came to Tripura. And he somehow contacted me, somebody has given my number. And he said that I am interested to know how the settler mapping is happening in the state of Tripura. Whereas no other, not even in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Gujarat, they have used. But it is a Tripura, small state who have fast used. And we found exactly after he has articulated, and he also questioned to the director that how the Red Indian losses their land. Exactly this is how, because sitting in a room, identified the land with the settler mapping, and this is how they found, and they, without informing, slowly they will just project of forestry, social forestry and so forth, and they will evict you. And thereafter, they will go for mining. So these are the hidden agenda. Now, if we don't understand the hidden agenda, then this kind of conflict will take place. And there is no such kind of issue. What we are seeing in the newspaper, oh, this community is demanding this, that community is demanding that. It is not that issue. As Tama has mentioned, from where these guns are coming. So this economic policy, why they have declared this, the environment impact assessment, under that they say that the state will not able to control the forest, so the state should surrender and hand over this power to the central government. So in this EIA draft policy, they basically say the ownership will be owned by the central government, not by the state. So once the central government takes the ownership, that you and I doesn't have any rights. So this is what they are trying to do. And the policy what they are making is now, it is not the government who is going to operate, but it is a company whom they had handed over, like Adani, Ambani. And now who is going to look after this palm oil plantation? Patanjali. And who is Patanjali? Everyone knew. ये बाबा रामदेव कहाँ से आया है? Baba Ramdev is going to be the owner of our northeast, our land. So are we going to surrender? So it is very serious. You and I may live happy life now without much disturbance, but tomorrow all what you have saved for your children will just vanish away, because even having their resources will not be able to enjoy, because your life will suffer. So these are the issues that where we need to understand and articulate. Many people say, oh, this is for the interest of the nation. Right? For the interest of the nation is by the people. And for the people, the nation should grow. But if you are marginalizing, but if you are, destroying your own people, then for whom then the interest is. So that is a question that where we have to ask. I think these are very serious. Now you find on and off the conflict in Meghalaya, border issue. Then how you and I tackle the issue, that one need to articulate. But if you and I knowingly doesn't raise or knowingly doesn't create the awareness to the people, then who will raise? And we find that everyone's are interested in politics. But what is that politics? People doesn't know. Politics means they thought that, oh, we'll become in power, that we will be able to control certain things, or I will become an MLA or minister, and so on and so forth. But politics is not that for us. In the Northeast, politics is political right. And what is that political right? Is my identity, is my cultural right, is my economic and political right. This political right doesn't mean only to become minister, MLA. Political right is to get a self-determination, where I can choose of my life, where I can decide about my future, where I can decide about my future of next generation. That is called a political right. So it is not the right where I will only become MLA or minister. No. These are all self-interest politics. So political rights and politics differ a lot. So we need to understand that perspective. Now, if you see the Brahmaputra, waters are drying up. You don't feel water. If you see Borapani, you don't feel water. Why? The climate changes, global warming, and this is how it is happening because of the mining. And if you stop mining and if you start preserving, protecting your forest, definitely we can mitigate and we can protect our climates. And the population transfer is also part of climate change. The population transfer is also part of conflict. The population transfer is also taking away our rights. So all these things we have to articulate and we have to understand. And I think at the end of the day, we have to question our guardian. And who is our guardian? It's a government, Union Government of India. Why are you allowing this thing to happen? What is your interest? We have to pinpoint and question. What is your interest? And you are not even uttering a single word. Being a Prime Minister of India, your nation is dying, your nation is burning, and yet you don't feel to utter a single word. So, what kind of country that we are living? I think that we have to understand. I think these are all nutshell where actually I'm trying to share. I'm trying to articulate because the conflict is not the human hatred between one community and another community. The conflict is because of the interest of someone who is sitting in the capital. They want us to die so that they can take all the natural resources and they become a billionaire. This is what is actually happening. Hadn't been their love Northeast, they could have really developed Northeast with the choice of people wanted, with the choice of people desire, with the choice of people's structure. But they don't want. In terms of decision, in terms of policy, we are being excluded. We are not being included. Why? Where is my right? Where is my constitutional right? So I think this is what we have to understand. Why today in Gujarat this kind of conflict is not happening? Why today in Haryana or in Punjab, why this kind of conflict is not happening? There are also so many, and there are more, what you call, the different groups are there, because India believes on the Hinduism. They say Brahman, Kshatriya, Shudra, whatever it is there. This caste system is there, but yet there is no conflict. Whereas in the Northeast we don't have any caste system, and we live as a brother and sister together in peace and harmony. It has never happened before. But why? Time and again, once in a blue moon, when people forget all those conflicts and start living together in peace and harmony, and all of a sudden again, this kind of situation arises. Today, Manipur, tomorrow it may happen to Meghalaya again, or to TRIPURA, or to ASSAM, or to ARUNACHAL, or to Sikkim. Sikkim and ARUNACHAL, it is not only the community conflict will occur, but it is also the international conflict will be there, because China is coming in, in ARUNACHAL and in Sikkim, and also now, because this conflict is also because of this, interference of different international. So I think we need to understand and we need to come together. And we need to really have one common declaration saying that this is what we don't want to see and this is what we want to see. And we are Indian as you are, and we want to protect our land, but it should not be as of your choice. It should be within the choice of the Northeast people. I think that is what we have to, raise our voice and show the way for them that what Northeast people require. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll just have a tea break for 15 minutes. 11:10 now. We'll meet 11:85. So tea is available in either hall. So we'll meet at 11:25.
We need to do something.
Yeah, we haven't done.
Okay, then I will do one thing. Then we'll do separate introduction. That will be better.
Thank you. My name is Boris Malakar. I'm General Secretary, ASSAM NOBOKISHORE.
Good morning, everyone. From different parts of Northeast is organizing such an event. We get to learn a lot. Thank you.
I'm NOBOKISHORE from Manipur.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Siga, and I'm practicing advocate at Guwahati High Court, Itanagar Permanent Bench. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hayyantan, currently serving in the office of the Brahmaputra Declaration as a General Secretary and also a representative of Betista Youth Welfare Center.
Good morning, everyone. My name is lamjingbatomtv from Meghalaya. I'm a practicing advocate in the Meghalaya High Court. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brahmaputra. I'm a practicing lawyer in Meghalaya High Court.
Good morning, all. Myself, Mukul Phukon. I am representing an organization called Forum for Assam, which is issue deals related like climate change, environment related or human rights, and so and so. That's my identity. Thank you.
I am from Shillong. I also practicing advocate.
Hello everyone, my name is EBOHILI from ARUNACHAL. I'm also an advocate. Thank you.
Once again, good morning, everyone. I'm DEBBARMA from Agartala. I too belong to as a human rights activist, but also in their group as a practicing advocate.
Hi everyone, I'm ENOCH from Betista Youth Welfare Center, representing Betista Youth Welfare Center Timama.
Hello, good morning. Myself Mohan. I am representing an organization called Northeast Affected Area Development Society Needs based on Jorhat. I am also representing Northeast Dialogue. Thank you.
Some introduction. Now I would like to request Sir EBOHILI of Arunachal.
Come from Arunachal, sir and other fellow sir, learned sirs have mentioned Arunachal Pradesh many times. So in one of those issues were about the dam. So I'm also as a dam activist, and just for the record, I was arrested last year. I was there in the jail for 3 days because of that dam work. And we have one success story. Once I was released, I'm still on bail, though I'm a lawyer, but then I was arrested because of my own. In my Dibang Valley, we have around, I come from the Dibang Valley district, and there are 2 in Dibang Valley district. In that 2 Dibang district, we have around 16 dams MOUs which has been signed, and out of that, one is already compensation has been released. that is of 2,880 megawatt dam. And now, like I said, we have one success story. So once I was released out of the bail, out of the jail, so we came together. I got help from all across India, and then we started. There is another 3,000 hydroelectric dam that is Italy. It's in the DEBBARMA district, Italy. So we pointed out all the. We started taking help from the people, the experts from different backgrounds. We are lawyer. We are no expert in the engineering backgrounds or other details. So we took help from other people, and that's how we come to know. We took help from the PhD scholars, and they reviewed the reports, and that's how we took out all the flaws. And we had a meeting with the FAC, the Forest Advisory Committee, that come all the way from the Delhi. Since we've been writing petitions after petitions, online petitions, and that's why they had to come. We had a meeting, and the meeting was very successful. As of now, the 3,097 megawatt Italian hydro project is scrapped. That was because of all our team hard work. And we have, of course, since we are sharing border with Assam, so of course there are clashes. But that clashes can be solved out. Recently, though, we have been condemning the killing of, there was a killing, 2% was died in the fighting incident. So about that, and then today we have gathered here because of the, we all belong from a different, representing different organizations. Representing affected people, representing some minorities, either way, but the one thing is common, that we are all representing in the name of humanity. The one thing is common, that we are all advocating for the human rights. So now we are here, basically the theme that was given is the mechanism to prevent the ethnic cleansing experience and role of 7 states in the region. Now, since we have come here, we all know that we are representing someone, an NGO, a group which are credible, and then what I believe in my humble opinion, that we are basically representing a state. So it's our responsibility, since we are fighting for the human rights, we are vocal about the human rights issue. So it is our responsibility that one of us, that is what's happening in the Manipur. That's very disheartening to see, and very saddening to see the people being displaced. More than 100 people have been killed, more than 350, as Sir has mentioned, has been injured. And now there is something that is happening in Manipur, one of the state of 7 states. And it's very sad to know that the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, he does not have time for us. It seems that Manipuri, it seems, the way their attitude, it seems that the Manipuris is in some other country. At least that's what we are getting the notion, that he does not have time. But though he has time for the to travel in the metro to visit. Recently, our Delhi University student. So recently, 2 days back, there was a 100 years celebration. He attended there, but there was no single mention of what's happening in the Manipur. Though it would be very decent of him if he would at least mention the term Manipur. At least he would have acknowledged. He didn't do that. So that's a very sad thing, though he's a Prime Minister. And I don't know if I'm supposed to comment on that. I'm so sorry, but then I'm commenting because I feel like I should comment. And regarding the mechanism to prevent the ethnic cleansing, yeah, like I said, we are representing the credible NGOs and the groups. So what I believe is we should write to our, like how the sir has mentioned, we should write it to the governor, our state governors, and also we should also offer help to the state Manipur by writing to them that we can be of any helpful as a group, so that we can be the catalyst or a channel. So basically, when I say firstly, when I point out the first is the crucial to promote the dialogue. So if there could be an open dialogue between 2 ethnic groups, it seems the way it seems now there is a ethnic cleansing. So when we talk about the ethnic cleansing, there is a history, and the history says that it always ends up bad. The people end up being if you talk about the Nazi Holocaust. So now the Germans, they are being pictured as a negative because they were the ones. So even in the Armenian massacres, they were done by the Turks. And now what we are seeing in Manipur is no less. basically the Kuki and then the Meitei, the differences they're having and they're fighting with each other. So what we want is to see not as an ethnic group, but to see each other as a father, as a mother, as a brother, sister, or someone's son and daughter. So we should see on that angle. Instead, we shouldn't see in the communal manner or as if we belong to some ethnic groups. So what I believe is the first thing is to have an open channel dialogue to promote the communication between the two ethnic groups, and if they are not ready to do, at least we being the outsider from that state, we can offer help. And then secondly, empowering local governance and institutions to play a vital role. So if since now I prepared this in the context of Manipur, so I'll be talking only in the context of Manipur. So there is of course there is in every community has their apex body. Like I have a IMCLS, the Idu Cultural Society. That is the apex body of my community, my tribe. So that's how there should be one for the Kuki and also for the Meitei. So what we can ask is we can ask them to play a pivotal role to promote ceasefire and peace, and like how I have been telling, we could be the one to offer them. And thirdly, promoting cultural preservation in actions is essential. So that's something we the government promotes. We also says that, but then when it comes to the differences, the war that now what is happening in Manipur, that becomes the hurdle to think beyond that. So as of now, we are saying that let's promote cultural preservation. Let's do some program wherein your people come and my people come. Will display our traditions and cultures. That we need to do that, but as of now, it seems it's impossible. But then in later days, it will be possible. And it's been more than a month, almost more than 2 months that this issue is going on. And additionally, the education plays a pivotal role. However, we know I have come across, probably you have come across that people from very well-educated class people, say IPS, IS officer, even the apex body which runs the government. They are educated persons, but they are not educated in the right manner. Because at times, like how the sir mentioned, the people in the war, people are making profits out of it. Those profits are not being made by some illiterate person. Those are people in the very high class people who knows in and out about how things work, and that's how they make profit out of it. So a proper right education is needed, and how we can always educate our generations, every generation, that ethnic cleansing is not the solution. The violence is not the solution. And with that, I don't have much to say. That's how I'll be concluding it with how to promote a open dialogue channel, and then the local governance, as in is the apex body of both the parties. They come together, and if they are not able to come, we should offer our help. And then thirdly, promoting cultural preservation. We should make some programs also. And then the education is very important. Though the right education is needed, and to teach the importance of it. And this is EBOHILI. Thank you so much.
Representative from Assam, Sir PRADESH Malakar, Secretary, Assam Citizen Forum. Next, from Meghalaya, Sir KHARLYNGDOH.
So, good morning to all. Before I start my what I want to say is that I would like to apologize, excuse that this is all prepared. I don't know that you just called me that you have to at least say something about the topic. So the topic is about So the topic is about the mechanism to prevent the ethnic cleansing experience role of the 7 states in the region. This is very important as a forum, and this is my first time that I participate in this with the forum, and I would like to share one what is happening. It's like if you put, like the great philosopher said, if you put together the red ant and the black ant in the same chair. So if you just keep like that, they will live peacefully among them, and they will learn how to pass through one another, and they will learn how to live peacefully. But once, if somebody shook that chair, then the red ant, they will say that the black ant, they are trying to unrest them. The black ant, they will think that the red ant, they are trying to unrest them. So the fight will start. So it's the same thing that in the everywhere, if you see, in every problem, there's somebody who tried to create that unrest. And at the same time also they conceding among us also it goes to that thing that we, after the people, they will see, they will take advantage, the emotional, the and everything that we want to unrest among us. So like what we heard today from different speakers, they are talking about the government of India. Their eyes now they are looking to the northeastern states, the 7 sisters, and that's for many things. You have seen, like in Meghalaya, we have uranium, we have coal, we have bauxite, we have silimanite, we have there's what they call it, many minerals that we are having in Meghalaya. And in Assam we have oil, we have some other natural resources, and in Arunachal we have different mineral resources. And of course, in all states in Northeast we have rich in natural resources. And I would like to make you I want to remind regarding that what is happening before in this place where they how the Maoists they come out. First, the mega project came out because of the companies, and this kind of mega project, it went to the Supreme Court also, and at last the indigenous people, they have to bear the consequence. They have to bear the consequence, and no solution is coming up from different mega project. Like what we are hearing that in Meghalaya also. Now we just somewhere or some of the others, some other people, they are talking about the palm oil project. In Northeast, they are targeting around lakhs of hectares. They want to plant this palm oil. There is a project. So I don't know maybe in Meghalaya or in Assam or Arunachal or Tripura or anything or anywhere. But the project, I heard that is going to implement in Northeast. So that this also there are consequences. Maybe there will be the consequence of that because of that mega project. In Meghalaya, now when we are talking about the ethnic cleansing, we are in Meghalaya like in northeastern states. In every state we have different problems. We have different unrest. We have different many things about that how it's conceiving the hatred among us. That is conceiving that we don't know when it will finally born that kind of hatred. Like in Meghalaya we have like the previous speakers what they said. Example, in Meghalaya, we have three major problems now. It may arise at any time. One is that the tribes, what the problem among the tribes in the state. Two is a border issue, and three, religious difference. This we do know at any time, like. What we have seen. I think what we are talking about now, it's about the unrest in Manipur. In Manipur, due to this unrest, conflict among the tribes, among the indigenous, around 115 people they died, if I'm not mistaken. Around 300 people they injured, and counting, I think. Even died also, not only 115, I think it's counting and counting. And around 50,000 and counting, they are displaced. And they are in the relief camp. We were shocked after the incident. They said, there is a report which said that around 5,000 arms has been snatched from the securities. Around 5 lakhs live ammunition were snatched from the securities. What kind of this report? So imagine, if in Assam, if in Meghalaya, if it's in Tripura, if it's in ARUNACHAL, NAGALAND, and so on and so on. If this kind of incidents happen, what will happen? What will be the consequence? This, like the sharing between us, between the indigenous tribe, is that we have seen that we have, as an indigenous tribe, as indigenous people of Northeast, we are sharing when we are outside, when we are outside the state, when we are outside the Northeastern states. I have seen that we have shared a common thing. That is, whenever we are in the different parts of the of India, the people they used to call us that what Momo, call us so different kind of attribution like they have given us. But the only thing is that we are sharing the same. The thing is that we are sharing that we are. If you look at our face, if you look at our appearance, we will realize that these people, they are from Northeast. I think that if you look at if you go around India, if you go whole part of India, if you see the people from Northeast, you will realize. So, ethnic cleansing is that we have to, especially we from among us, like we have to overcome, like the emotional, like so many things that we need to overcome from these conflicts among us. And the conclusion is that whether this kind of conflict, and I don't know the Northeast Dialogue Forum, what are the approach that they have taken regarding the to stop this kind of conflicts among the indigenous. And I would like to say that I don't have anything to conclude regarding that, but let's conclude when we are all discussing about the different issues that we are hearing. So I would like to apologize once again, excuse that I didn't prepare anything, but these only few words that I prepared just now only. So I would like to say thank you. So we will, after the discussion, after we have a proper discussion, so let's come to conclusion. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Sir ENOCH KITHAN from Nagaland.
Good afternoon to all the beautiful artists and people. Actually, I was not the person, the point person that we chose. Unfortunately, his grandfather died, so I have no option. I have to be here representing Nagaland. So, why I say beautiful Northeastern people? We come from different. We are here from different backgrounds, different region, or different places, different cultures, different languages. Seeing our dynamics, seeing our diversity, it looks very beautiful. But dynamics or diversities, it looks good, it looks beautiful. But we need to be very careful. Since we are from different tribes, sub-tribes, our adversaries are looking for that loopholes. Different cultures, maybe different tribes. That may be our weaknesses, right? So what I could see, I could observe is the policy makers, that this Indian think tank, they are studying that. Where are the loopholes? Where it is lying? Where are the gaps that the Northeastern people wouldn't be able to come together as one unit, as one family? And this diversity, if we always keep on trying, if we don't keep on trying for this unity or this integration, it will bring a great disaster within our family, Northeastern people. As some of our former speakers have said, the mainland people, the Indian intelligence, they know, the multinational companies, they know only the resources that are rich within us, that are available in us. And we know, we comparing to mainland India, we are very few in population. So if we really try to give are strong bond together. If we don't try to maintain strong bondage within ourselves, it will be a great advantage for others, outsiders. Those who are coming here as a business for profit making. So we need to be unified. We need to be always focused in one direction. Our focus should be one. Yeah. So because I'm glad to say that this time we could see so many new faces. So new faces means new inputs, new ideas, new tools. So I will not be taking much time. And in the context of Nagaland, I think it is going to be a frontier Naga territory, even within the small state of Nagaland. This frontier Naga territory, it is going to be carved out of Nagaland state. They have this separate administration, financial management will also be separated. So this is a divisive policy of the Indian government. Yeah. And same case to Manipur, ethnic cleansing. People say from different angles. Maybe some people say that it's religious lines, in the lines of religion. Some other people say in the lines of other things. Yeah, but this is the silence of Modiji. There's something behind. We've not spoken of anything till now. Yeah, so the state government, legislators, policymakers of in the state are hand in glove with the central government, with the policymakers at the center. So the activists should be one, should be united to fight for our rights. Fighting our rights may start from our kitchen sometimes. May not be only in the platform like this. May not be in social media. There are so many ways to fight for our rights. Yeah, another thing is voting killing. 3 months back, 4 months back, it was published in the newspaper that no FIR can be lodged against the Indian armies, under the shield of Armed Forces Special Power Act. This is very discouraging and very painful too. Even if you happen to be shot down by someone, armies, we cannot file a complaint. We cannot file a case against armies. This is very disheartening, very sad, as if you are not humans. Yeah, so another thing is natural resources. This may be the contentious issue. This may be the origin of so many clashes within our different communities staying in Northeast. So, cordial relationship with one community is very much important in Northeast. One should know the dynamics of other communities. Same case to this reciprocal. We should be reciprocal. And another thing is oil palm plantation. Actually, the foothills of Nagaland is the most fertile land in our state. But the government, after signing MOU with the oil companies, they declared 40 areas of Nagaland as the barren land, wasteland. They say that 40 areas are wasteland. Whereas actually, this is the fertile land, most fertile land in our state. And they declared this as a zone for the demarcated zone for this oil plantation. And this fertile belt so many mineral resources are there. Most of the resources, mineral resources are lying there in this along the foothills. Yeah, and once I'll go back to Manipur violence. According to the source, there are more than 100 people who are taking shelter in Nagaland alone. Maybe mostly from Kuti community, from Manipur. So violence will bring only death. Violence will bring only miseries, nothing else. So violence in Manipur should be stopped once and for all. This is my appeal to the state government, to the people who are in authority. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sir Enoch. Now, I would like to call Sir Pradesh Malakar, Secretary, Assam Citizens Forum.
Thank you for inviting me for this discussion. See, when I was contacted by MOHAN SAIKIA, and then I was given the impression that okay, I'll have to give a speech on Assam's declaration. But now, actually I'm not interested in giving a speech. And I also do not like this kind of a formal, because the kind of issues we are dealing with, I don't feel comfortable in a formal setting, because you know we need to sit down and discuss things, you see, face to face. And I'm really very happy what I have heard from our friend from ARUNACHAL Pradesh, from Nagaland, and from Meghalaya. Now the question is, they are saying something very important. You see, okay, we Northeast, we belong to different tribes, sub-tribes, communities, all kinds of variety. It is said that Northeast is a miniature India. Now, the question is, what is happening in Northeast? What is happening in the Northeast? These our differences, this central government, they are taking advantage of our differences. Our differences, of course. I am a different person, he is a different person, he is a different person. Own understanding, own likings, different looks, different attires. But does that mean that we should be fighting against each other? Does that mean we should be fighting against each other? That is, see, there is a central government, and it's a very, very, very clear. It sends a very clear message that a state, a northeastern state, is burning for more than 2 months, and the Prime Minister of the country, he has absolutely nothing to say on this. Now, what does it mean? I'm very happy that I'm in the company of a person who is out in bail. I'm very happy. I thought, when I came initially, I thought, who are these people? I do not know them. But now I feel very comfortable after hearing what you have said. And particularly a person who fought against the dam, and he is out only in bail. We are frankly speaking, we should be sitting like this. We should be sitting in a round table. we are facing a really serious crisis. Really serious crisis. Our rulers, now he said so beautifully. So, one fine morning they declared that these are all barren lands. They declared these are barren lands. And that is happening here in Guwahati also. There we have a very famous, heritage site, Digholi Pukhuri. Now it is all in the newspaper that they are giving it to someone from Gujarat. Now what exactly is happening in this country? And particularly in these areas. But you should also be careful about one thing. Except one who are in the government in all the northeastern states. Who are in the government. Now what we are discussing here today, this government, the state governments, don't they have anything to do with what is happening in the ground? We are facing really a very, very serious crisis. They are encouraging fight among ourselves. They are promoting the conflicts. They are not there. The government, the central government, even the state government. Now we have Assam, we have conflict, border conflict with Meghalaya, we have border conflict with Arunachal Pradesh, we have border conflict with Mizoram. What the hell is happening in this country? Now, so I need to tell you the symptoms, I need to tell you the problems. But my concern is, what can we do about it? I was actually looking, I would have spent the entire day today, because I was looking for a forum, I'm looking for some people of Northeast whom I can actually contact, talk to. Because unless, you see, there's a government, there's a central government, there's a state government, but who are representing the people, and people are also divided among political, you see, different political parties. Now, how do we come out of this crisis? Who is going to look after our own interest? Now we are really in a serious problem. So, these formal discussions, we need more informal discussions. We need more informal discussions. We need more heart-to-heart discussions. And we need to do something about it. I am not interested in engaging myself in any academic discussion. Not at all. Not at all. My interest is how actually in this crisis, how now the cookies and the mites. Just think about it. This is a very good example. This is a very good example before us, no? Isn't it? The two communities, they are fighting for more than 2 months. And as he said, yes, arms are looted from government, you see, ordnance factories. And they have been allowed to fight among themselves, kill among themselves. Now who is going to be, who is going to be the savior? You fight among yourself, and then somebody sitting in Delhi, they will decide your fate. Now, friends, actually, I am not interested in giving a lecture. All of you know the problems, and whatever I have heard from the representatives of 3 states, I think I am in good company. I am among the people who also think the way I think about the problems of the Northeast. But it is high time we did something about this beautiful place. About this beautiful place, these beautiful people. We have beautiful customs. Each place, our geography is different, our climate is different, our culture is different, and these people, they don't allow us to live the way we want to live. They don't want us to live the way we want to live. They want to control us. They want to control us. They want to have hegemony over us. Absolutely, I have absolutely no doubt, no confusion on my mind. So far the design of the central government is concerned, now what do we do? Do we remain silent or do we do something? Now, these are the questions troubling me for quite some time. These are the questions. Now, what do we do? How do we? And one thing, 2024 election is coming. Don't forget. 2024 election is coming. And if this evil force, I can speak very frankly, I have absolutely no doubt in my mind, if this evil force again come to power, I do not know what is going to happen to us. I really do not know. So one of the things we should also do, we should also see that this evil force does not come to power in 2024. Who comes, I am not concerned. But they should not come. And if we do not do anything, and if we just remain silent, these people will come again. I am very happy that you invited me today to interact. Actually, this is not interaction. It's just one way speaking only. But I am more interested in, you see, in an interaction, in a discussion, animated discussion, informal discussion. Because one point I just again and again I am trying to make is that we are facing a serious, very serious crisis. And Manipur is an example. This Manipur may be repeated anywhere. And it is repeated in a way or in some way or other. This Manipur can be repeated in Meghalaya. Yes, there is Kasi and Garo. This Manipur can be repeated here in Assam. It's being repeated occasionally. Hindu, Muslims, other communities, and same thing will happen everywhere. So my sincere appeal to you that let us do something about it. And from Assam Nagarik Samaj, we are trying to organize a regional convention of civil society organizations of the entire Northeast. And my request, the people who organize this, I'll be in touch with them. I'll take all the details about you. I'll also get to know more about you. And maybe in about 1.5 months' time, we should meet again. We should do something. Particularly, we should do something so that this evil force cannot come to power in 2024. If we can stop that, you see, at least 50% of our problems will be solved. Because their only intention is to divide us, divide and rule, and have hegemony over us, control us. I'm sorry I didn't come with a prepared speech, and I'm not also interested in prepared speech. I'm more interested in actually in communication, in exchanging ideas, hearing from you, talking to you. I'm not interested in giving a speech. And as is it, he knows I'm not a person who gives speech. I'm extremely delighted. I'm extremely delighted that you invited me to actually come here and to exchange few words with you. Thank you very much. But then, as I say, I look forward to much more meaningful discussion and dialogue so that we can really do something at the grassroots level. We are not interested, we should not be, nobody should be interested in, you see, in an academic discussion. Okay, we are, of course we'll have to give an appeal. We also, from Assam Nagarik Samaj also, we gave an appeal on Manipur where more than 70 people from different walks of life, they join us. All those things are important. What is more important is to do some work at the ground level. Thank you very much for once again.
Thank you, Sir Paresh. Now I'd like to request Sir Kishore Kalita, Advocate, Guwahati High Court.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here. But I have some problem in my language. Sure. I would like to seek answers from your side. I may use some Assamese language also because the subject which have already been discussed by many of your friends and also Protestant. I would like to start from what they have just said. That what is the future of the other statehood? Are we going to experience the same thing like in Manipur? What is happening in Manipur? And I have the apprehension that the state of Assam is the next one which will face similar situation in the near future. Because recently the Election Commission has published the first draft of the Assembly, the Constitution of the Assemblies. Then I would like to give one example where scheduled tribe peoples are dominated, and it is nearby Guwahati. That is, one is Dimoria Homestay. I think you know about Dimoria. It is nearby Sonapur. When you are coming from the Upper Assam, you will get Sonapur first before entering Guwahati. So previously it was Dispur constituency. Now it is divided to two parts. One is Dimoria. In Dimoria, most of the people, more than 50% is people of tribal people. But the Karbi people who are living in the plain areas in Assam, they are not recognized as the ST. But the hills Karbis are recognized as the ST hills. But as the plain Karbis are not recognized as the ST plains, so they are deprived from getting any kind of opportunities, particularly in the political representation. So the SC population is more than the ST population in Dimoria now, as the reconstituted assembly. So now it is reserved for the SC. Now Dimoria constituency is reserved for the ST. Previously, Dispur constitution was free from any kind of reservation. It was open. So these people are now coming to our chamber and they are requesting us that you please file one appeal before the Election Commission. We are also doing that. So the problem is that the Dimoria constituency is covered by the tribal belt and blocks. Do you know about tribal belt and blocks? I think my friends of Manipur and Nagaland are not aware about tribal belts and blocks. So in Meghalaya we know about that it is actually administered under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution. So people from the outside cannot buy or settle here without the permission of the government and the council. So that restriction is there. But within the tribal belt and block, that provision is actually enacted in the Assam law, Assam Land and Revenue Regulation. There is a law, Assam Land and Revenue Regulation. Under the 10th schedule, 10th chapter of this regulation, there is a provision of constitution of tribal belt and blocks and notifying certain groups of people who have the entitlement of getting the right over land. So there are 6 communities around here in every tribal belt and block. So whenever the Demoriya constituency will be reserved for the SA, then automatically the next step will be the denotification of the tribal belt and block. Denotification is the withdrawing of the tribal belt and block. And whenever it will be withdrawn, then any people from the outside, not only from the Assam, even from a person maybe from Maharashtra or Gujarat can purchase land here. So that land alienation is happening around the Brahmaputra civilization. If you go from Guwahati to Romia or the western part of the Assam, then you will see some block, concrete block nearby the national highway. What you will find? That this plot of land, huge plot of land, not 1 bigha, 2 bigha, 10 bigha, maybe 50 bigha or 100 bighas. This land have already been sold and it is purchased by people from the outside. So that will happen in nearby Guwahati, because in Guwahati we have 2 or 3 belt and blocks. One is in the western part and other in the other 2 or 3 in the eastern part. So that consequences, now we are going to face that consequences. If it is reconstituted and it will be reserved for SCs, then the tribal people of Demoriya region will not get any opportunity to be MLA in near future. So what I am thinking about the future of the Northeast region, then we have to look back to the Constitution Assembly debate. At the time of the Constitution debate, when the 6th schedule, provision of the 6th schedule was discussed in the Constitution Assembly, I think William Sharma, I forget the name. Williamson Sharma or someone else, I forget actually, sorry. So he made a very critical observation that he said that if we are not protected, if our land and culture is not protected in near future, all of the land will be in the hands of the other people. He actually termed like aggressive immigrants. So for the last 60 or 70 years, our main primary issues are not resolved. What we are demanding here? We are demanding that the tribal people, the ethnic indigenous people should get all kind of protection from the outsider and the immigrants. Because in every respect, politically, economically, culturally, educationally, these people are more advanced than us. I am not saying about the present time, I am saying about the time of the Indian independence. Those people who are coming to this land, they are more advanced in many aspects. So they have the capital, like in my small town, that is Pachala. In Pachala, if you go to Pachala, then you will find that the main urban land that are owned by the Marwari people. So these issues are not resolved. And I think that the right over the land and the other natural resources is the primary issue for which now we are facing any kind of conflicts. So what may be the probable solutions? We should not discuss about that because all of our friends already from Nagaland, Manipur, and my Nagaland friend has said a very good good example of our autonomy. He said that we should start our independence or sovereignty right from our kitchen. I think you have said it. So what we have already lost in our kitchen? In every community, not only from Assam, I think also from Manipur and Nagaland, they are purchasing every item of their kitchen from the market. And we have already lost our sustainability in our traditional fooding or maybe the kitchen. No? So now these things are coming. The corporation and the total marketization is now penetrating every part of the northeast region. And at the same time, we are losing everything. Not only our cultural values, but every aspect or every element of our livelihood. That is why every community is now demanding that they should be protected under different clauses of the Indian Constitution. They should have their autonomy. They should have their own land. They should have their own geography. But what is the probable way, or what are the probable ways to resolve these solutions, these problems? So I am just write down some things here. First thing is that we must, as Podesta has said, that we must have some open dialogues without having the intervention of the third party. Whenever the third party will come, then automatically they will have some kind of intervention in every dialogue. And that is happening. We have already witnessed that thing. Because this is not an open dialogue between, suppose if there is any kind of solution, if you seek any solution in a Manipur, the first most essential thing is to a discussion between the Kuki and native people. Because this issue was not developed due to the Kuki and native people, as you know about it. Whenever an observation has given by the High Court, I think it is Manipur High Court, regarding the ST status, the government has forwarded that observation to the Government of India, and automatically it has developed this tension. So first and foremost thing is to discuss, open discussion between the communities to resolve their issues. And second thing is that if we are asserting our demands and at the same time we are not following any democratic rules and norms, then with arms, it is quite impossible to resolve the issues. We have already witnessed these things in last 70 years. In Assam, we have many conflicts and not a single conflict has been resolved here. We have BTR here, borderland territory areas here, under the 6th schedule. But still tensions are going on regarding the right over the land. Because many people are there in the BTR who are residing here from the long, or since the time immemorial. But they are not treated as like the ST people here, like the Bodo people. So many times they issued a notification that such as it is now barred. The people of non-notified people cannot alienate their lands to the other people. So such restrictions are there. So these issues must be resolved democratically. And whenever we think about the 6th schedule, do you need only the geographical autonomy? The question is that. Is it possible? Only the geographical autonomy? I think it is quite impossible. Because within the BTR, the coast people are also demanding, the coast community is here. They are also demanding Kamatapur as separate state. But geography is the same. And that area, BTR is there. Borderland Territorial Council is there. So how they will resolve that? One is demanding full-fledged state, and another is also demanding state, though they are getting BTR, the Territorial Council under the 6th schedule, they are also demanding that yes, we need a separate state within that territory. So how that will be resolved? Is it a very difficult thing? So maybe some satellite kind of, yes, the provision of satellite autonomy. It is practiced in Western Europe, in Spain, in many Western countries. They have satellite autonomy, cultural autonomy also there, maybe political autonomy. But geographical autonomy is I think we have problems in giving the geographical autonomy because most of the communities are demanding sheet schedule, separate statehood, but their territory is the same. And whenever we discuss about the conflict in Northeast region, we usually forget about the concept of the CPRS, community property resources. It's not